The Indy 500 and the Monaco Grand Prix, two of the most prestigious races in motorsport, are happening on the same weekend, and what a better way to celebrate them by combining the two series which race at these events, INDYCAR and Formula 1, by racing on the streets of Monte Carlo in a grid full of Indy cars. However, before that, here's a lap review of the Monaco Grand Prix. Into turn 1, you want to brake just after the 100-meter board and cut the inside curb as much as possible, running wide onto the outside curve without losing too much momentum. Then as we straight line the twisty bit of track up the hill without making contact with the walls at the crest, slow down and roll the car through the section, taking a very late apex to set up the sharp right-hander of Casino Square. Then we have a short blast down the hill to the Mirabeau hairpin, a good overtaking spot in many racing games. Again, taking a late apex as to set up the entry for the more famous Fairmont hairpin, through which you want to roll the car and take as much of the inside curb as possible. Again, take as much curb as possible into the next right, but avoid the curbs into the following right-hander, whose exit is crucial for the arguably longest straight of the circuit. Arguably because of the flat right-hand kink in the tunnel section, but nonetheless is followed by the hardest braking zone of the lap into the Nova chicane. Take as much curb as possible and avoid the wall on the left on exit into the entry of Tabac, the fast left-hander where you only need to shift down a few gears, which then sets up the fast swimming pool complex, taking as much curb as possible to run smoothly into the tighter of the chicanes. A final short blast into La Rascasse, another bold but possible overtaking zone, which is followed by the tight final corner, through which you don't want to clip the inside wall. And that's a lap of Monaco. But let's see if we can really overtake on this tight and twisty street circuit from the back of the field, because the lights are out and away we go here in Monte Carlo. We almost jump the start and get stuck behind P18 ahead of us, but we force the car out to the inside line for turn 1 and wedge our car within the track limits with a bit of crashing but it'll buff out. At Beau Rivage, we lose the rear end slightly, causing us to almost wall ride into Casino, but keep P10 away from the guy behind. And into Mirabeau, we make a massive dive to pick up 3 positions and dive down the inside of the Fairmont hairpin for good measure for another position, putting us up into P6. Very underrated overtaking spots, I must say. On lap 2, we're piling on the pressure onto P5, but then we cut the chicane so harshly we spin on exit. Thankfully, we use the car's momentum from the spin to redirect the nose of the car in vaguely the right direction and again block off the circuit enough as to not lose positions. However, we lose a lot of time to the leaders and another spin the next lap doesn't help. But we regain our focus and get the tires back in check to catch back up and overtake the leaders. This is aided by getting the ultimate pace of the car to just start clicking, and by lap 7 we've caught up to the back of P5 and send it down the inside for the infamous Rascasse dive bomb. We make a little bit of contact and lock up the rear tire a bit, but we make the overtake and stay within the slipstream distance of P4, as we then send it down the inside of Mirabeau. Again, not the cleanest overtake, but we make the overtake stick. Nonetheless, our pace is so good against the AI that we catch up a nearly 3-second deficit to the podium positions in 1 lap, as we replicate the same move into Mirabeau to get up into P3. Second is a little trickier though, because they are still further up the road by that stage of the lap. But because this is the last lap, it's now or nothing, and thankfully we still do have our pace, catch them up, and send it down the inside of Rascasse, the penultimate corner of the race, for P2, with a much cleaner dive bomb than any other of the race, as we take the checker flag and book in second. If we had maybe 1 or 2 more laps, we could have definitely gone for the lead. Like this video if you liked it, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you whenever I'll see you. Peace!